Imagine waking up one day and realizing that decades have slipped away. Years that could have been spent building a career, traveling the world, or raising a family. Instead, they were lost to an addiction that quietly consumed every opportunity, leaving nothing but regret. This is the story of Henry, a 60-year-old man who looks back on his life and sees not what was, but what could have been. If you believe pornography is just harmless entertainment, stay with us. His story may change your perspective forever. The weight of regret. Henry sat alone in his dimly lit apartment, the flickering glow of the television casting long shadows across the empty room. The ticking clock on the wall wasn't just marking time, it was reminding him of all the time he had lost. At 60 years old, Henry wasn't just growing older. He was haunted by a lifetime of missed opportunities, lost ambitions, and a gnawing sense of emptiness. His addiction to pornography, once something he brushed off as a guilty pleasure, had become a relentless force that dictated the course of his life. It had started in his early 20s, just a casual indulgence, something harmless, or so he thought. But what began as occasional entertainment soon became an escape, then a habit, and finally, an addiction. While his peers built families, pursued careers, and explored the world, Henry withdrew further into the isolation of his addiction. The fleeting comfort it provided came at a devastating cost. His relationships, his dreams, and his happiness. The life that could have been. Henry had once imagined a different future. He saw himself as a devoted husband, his home filled with the laughter of children and the warmth of family gatherings. He envisioned a career filled with growth and accomplishment, perhaps even running his own business, an ambition he once believed was within reach. But instead of working toward those goals, he fell into a cycle of instant gratification. Each time he tried to quit, he told himself he was in control, until he wasn't. The years passed one after another as he remained trapped in the same patterns, making the same excuses. Now, as he looked around his small, lifeless apartment, the reality of what he had lost settled in. His walls were bare, no family photos, no snapshots of a life well lived. His furniture was minimal, mirroring the emptiness inside him. His phone remained silent, no calls from loved ones, no invitations from friends. For years, he had numbed himself to the pain of loneliness, but now, in the quiet of his apartment, there was no escaping it. The cost of addiction. Regret burned deep as Henry reflected on the pivotal moments that had slipped through his fingers. He had once been a promising young professional, noticed by management for his potential. A promotion had been within reach, but his late nights spent indulging in his addiction left him exhausted, unfocused, and unreliable. Others climbed the ladder of success while he remained stagnant, always telling himself he would do better tomorrow. The same pattern played out in his personal life. He had once loved a kind and patient woman, someone who had believed in him. She had tried to stand by his side, but secrecy, broken promises, and emotional distance had driven her away. He had convinced himself he would change for her. He never did. Sitting in the silence, Henry clenched his fists, his anger simmering, not just at his addiction, but at himself. He had ignored the warning signs. He had refused to seek help. He had convinced himself he could manage it on his own. Pride had kept him from admitting the truth until it was too late. Tears slipped down his face as he whispered, "If only I had stopped." But regret is a cruel teacher. It only reveals its lessons when the past can no longer be changed. A warning and a call to action. Henry's story is a sobering reminder of how pornography addiction doesn't just steal your time. It quietly robs you of your relationships, your career, your self-worth, and in the end, your future. It may seem like a harmless escape, but unchecked, it becomes a prison, one that many don't recognize until the years have already disappeared. But if you're reading this, know this. It's not too late. You still have the power to take control, to break free before regret takes its grip. You don't have to wait until you've lost everything. You can start making changes today. Seek help, reach out to someone who understands, and take that first step toward reclaiming your life. Because while time lost can never be reclaimed, the future is still yours to shape. If Henry's story resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Have you or someone you know faced similar struggles? Share your thoughts below. Let's start the conversation and help others break free before it's too late.